If you're a woman over 35 and you feel like your body is fighting against you, it is, but probably not for the reason you've been told. Hello, I'm Charlie and I'm the co-founder of Potentia Coaching, and over the past 3 years we have helped transform over 500 people's lives. If you're looking for help with your weight loss journey, there'll be a link in the description below. Your metabolism isn't broken. It's been betrayed by your lifestyle. So the first point that I want to look at within this is, as you get to your mid-30s and beyond, your body will start to decrease its muscle mass. It's a natural, normal thing. What's going to happen though with that, your body's resting caloric burn will start to drop, which means potentially to lose weight, you have to be on 1,200, 1,100, 1,000 calories or even lower because you don't have as much muscle mass. To counter this, start strength training, start progressive overload, and start stimulating your body. You've also had years of under-eating, years of over-restricting, which has just taught your body to hold on to fat as a survival mechanism. You've also got to look at it as, if you're overly stressed, or if you've got a stressful job, or life's just stressful because you've got kids, husband, dog, whatever it is, that's going to result in your body not burning as much body fat, because when you have a lot more stress, your body can actually hold on to fat, and it holds on around the midsection. And it's just another normal thing. When you have spiked cortisol, it will cause your body to send signals to store body fat. That does not mean you get on a cortisol diet, because a cortisol diet is impossible. You've just got to look at it as, you've just got to do stress management. If you've got a highly stressful job and you feel like you can't talk to anyone at home, could you potentially talk to someone else? Could you bring in someone external to help you with the journey, to take some stress off your hands? All of these things are something that you could implement to help lower the stress. You can't go on a set diet to reduce stress. You can't just go and eat bananas and magically become unstressed. It's adapting your lifestyle, or having someone help you adapt your lifestyle, or even someone that you can rant to. Then once you hit 35, your hormones will be changing. Perimenopause can begin as early as 35. Now, with the change in your hormones, it adds stress to the body, but also it will impact how you store fat. Also, unfortunately, there can be a change in your insulin sensitivity. Now, with age, this change will always happen, which means the same foods that you ate at 25 will probably not work as well when you're 35 or when you're 45 or even when you're 55. Certain foods could spike your blood sugar quite a lot more, which then can result in you storing more fat or storing fat faster. Then you've also got to look at, how are you sleeping? Because the change in hormones could cause you to not sleep as well. You've also got to look at, if you're stressed, you might not sleep as well, or poor diet, you might not sleep as well. And sleep is one of the big factors that can impact how your hormones perform. If you've got poor sleep, which is common at this age, it can tank your growth hormone. The best way to describe your growth hormone is the primary role for fat loss, and it's also for recovery. If you struggle to get to sleep in the first 90 minutes, you have your peak in growth hormone 90 minutes into your sleep cycle. So if you're going to bed at odd times, you're always going to have your growth hormone slightly out of whack. But as you get older, again, it gets impacted a little bit more. Most of your growth hormone is released during your sleep cycles. The next point is the cardio-only approach. Now, steady state cardio can burn calories in the moment, but it won't preserve muscle. I'm a big advocate for using cardio as a useful tool, but not using it as your only source of exercise. I do think if you can strength train minimum 2 times a week, you'll be hitting each muscle group twice, which is optimal. And if you wanted to do cardio, because some people enjoy cardio as just an activity, then you can add that in alongside the strength training. What we want to be doing is the strength training to preserve muscle or potentially build muscle, which will keep your caloric burn slightly higher because it takes more calories to maintain the muscle mass that you've got. If you're doing lots and lots of cardio, it can actually cause a spike in cortisol. Now, the spike in cortisol will just have a compound effect. You store body fat. We've just shortened that compound. You will store body fat. HIIT workouts can increase stress, which then increases cortisol, which is why strength training, just general weightlifting, is one of the best forms of exercise. And then one thing that no one really talks about, when you do cardio a lot, you just have an increased appetite. You're hungry a lot more, you can eat a lot more, and I feel like it's just counteractive of being in a calorie deficit, where in that deficit, you're trying to lose body fat, so you don't want these hunger cravings, you don't want these thoughts for food, and just doing a couple runs a week can increase that hunger level quite a lot. Also, you might not recover as well. Now, most of the cardio people will be doing is steady state, which I still find can increase your calories, can increase your hunger levels. The big thing that I'd focus on, strength train minimum twice a week, and then try and just aim for a step count. The steps won't make any difference. You recover really well from them, you won't have an increase in appetite, and it will keep you going forward. As NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, is what steps falls into, and that's actually where the biggest calorie burn is. Finally, you're eating healthy, but you're not eating what your body actually needs. People think eating salads all the time, yes, it's healthy, totally understand it if you enjoy them as well, but most women over 35, actually I would just say most women that have joined and I've coached throughout the time of my coaching, they've all joined with the same problem where they're massively under consuming protein. Is one of the biggest things for building muscle, preserving muscle, and preventing muscle loss during fat loss, which the goal when you're trying to lose weight is to lose fat, not muscle, which means you're missing out on a trick to basically be able to eat more food in the long run. Also, I feel like diet culture has led people to believe that fats in your diet are bad for you. Everyone's going for these 0% yogurts, 0% milk, anything that's had all the fat taken out. These fats, sure, they add a bit of extra calories, but they're healthy fats that your body needs that can help them with hormones. Your hormones rely solely, or quite a lot, from healthy fats that you can consume. So don't restrict yourself from healthy fats. So the fix isn't a new diet, it's just a completely different relationship with your body. Now you might think, Charlie, that sounds stupid, but I'm going to talk about it, we're going to break it down. So with fat loss, especially over the age of 35 plus, you need to be working with your cycle and your hormone fluctuations, not ignoring them. When you have fluctuations, you're going to have an increase in the scales. It's probably going to also cause you to potentially want to binge a little bit more. I've noticed with ladies that I've coached that are going through the menopause have always found like certain points they will really start to crave sugary foods, and or they'll have poor sleep, which then will cause them to have an increase in ghrelin, which then makes them hungry the next day. So you need to be a little bit kinder to yourself because your body is going through changes. But the biggest thing to look at is one pastry isn't going to ruin your progress. One bad meal isn't going to ruin your progress. We need to be consistent over being intense. The more consistent you are, the more you'll stick to it, the more your results will come. Being in short, aggressive diets, get the weight off super quick, not learning anything about how to maintain, what's going to happen when this pops up, when this. Some people might try and do 4 weeks fat loss, cut their calories right down. As soon as they are out of that 4 weeks, they're happy with the scale weight, but then they put the calories back to normal, the scales start to increase, it has a knock-on effect. And you don't have to do more, you just have to have the correct systems in place, you have to be consistent and be patient. Be patient enough to put in the time to get your result. If you're going to get fed up after 2 weeks, you're probably never going to be able to get to the result that you want to. If you like this video, please make sure you like and subscribe. I'm going to be posting 2 YouTube videos every single week to help you with your weight loss journey.